Well, every 5 years, Congress writes a new farm bill, legislation that's responsible for pumping billions of dollars into farm states like Oklahoma. Money that covers everything from food stamps to farm subsidies. And while just a fraction of the total cost of the farm bill, it is the farm subsidies, those direct payments and price supports for farmers, that generate most of the controversy.
Well, created during the Dust Bowl days by President Roosevelt, farm subsidies were a way to save thousands of small farmers on the brink of disaster. Since then, tens of billions of dollars has flowed into farm country to control commodity prices while also helping farmers through the lean times.
What we need to keep in mind is farm subsidies were originally established to ensure a domestic food supply for the United States, and that's why they're there today.
Well, field work can wait for farmers like Jeff Craybill. On this Saturday morning, Craybill and some fellow wheat growers are busy baking bread, passing it out to a public increasingly unfamiliar with what goes on down on the farm.
There might be the new home in the rural setting that the man lives in, the family lives in, and they work in town, but they still don't have a tie to agriculture. And the number of agriculture producers across the United States is steadily declining.
Less than 2% of Americans are now involved in production agriculture, yet farmers remain a powerful force in our nation's capital. Negotiations of the 2007 Farm Bill have spilled over into 2008, in part because of political infighting and a promised veto from President Bush over its cost, $280 billion over a 10-year period.
First of all, we can't use price supports anymore if we want to compete in the world. If we truly want to have open agriculture exchange to really benefit the agricultural community in this country, we're going to have to get away from that.
$60,000 per resident.
Oklahoma Senator Tom Coburn has earned a reputation as a crusader against what he believes is unnecessary government spending. And he says while farm subsidies are just a fraction of the total cost of the Farm Bill, he believes the entire system is in need of reform.
Look at rural Oklahoma. So many of our small farms are gone and they're being farmed either on lease or something else. I mean, how do you buy a $250,000 combine and make it efficient on 400 acres? You can't. Most of our agricultural groups, our farmers, are undercapitalized. So why do we have price supports? Because they can't make it through the normal changes in the market. Most farmers I talk to would much rather have a market system where they didn't have to depend on anything from the federal government. But we live in a global world, so we've got to have either a good trading system or we have something that allows them to compete.
Competition increasingly complicated by a global economy. Worldwide, no industry is more regulated and manipulated than food. Tariffs tax imports coming into countries, while farm subsidies support exports going out. A dynamic the World Trade Organization says helps rich nations while hurting the poor. In West Africa, cotton is vital to their local economy. Labor's cheap here, just about $1 a day, but farmers still struggle to make a profit, something they blame on Western farm subsidies they believe keep world cotton prices unnaturally low.
What we want is to stop subsidies. So the government should not provide them with subsidies so that we are on equal foot regarding the markets.
Unlike in the U.S., farmers here receive no help from the government. To survive, they grow food crops for their family and cotton for cash, earning in a good year only about $300.
Our life depends on cotton. And for example, if the price of cotton is 400 CFA, and if there are too many producers who have cotton on the market, the price can reduce to 25 CFA.
Price fluctuations that affect farm economies around the globe.
The world markets shape and hurt all of us.
Back in Oklahoma, Matt Muller is preparing to plant another cotton crop. In Oklahoma, it's cotton farmers that receive some of the largest farm subsidies, amounts Muller believes can be misleading.
I don't think the general public understands the amount of money that we go through. I'm a 1,200 acre farmer. That is small for my county. And as far as money I'll go through, I'll go get loaned for $300,000 at the bank to put a crop in. We go through tens of thousands of dollars just to pay for our equipment and our fuel and our labor and our chemical and seed. We handle a lot of money and make a very small margin on it. And so that's why when you talk big numbers, it doesn't necessarily translate to a big profit towards us.
Still, Oklahoma producers received about $3.4 billion in federal farm support over a 10-year period, with the largest 10% of the producers receiving about 70% of all the benefits. Money farmers like Muller defends as an investment in entire communities.
The subsidies we receive are basically passed on throughout the economy. So we can go buy John Deere tractors so that the guy who made the John Deere tractor making union wages can keep his job, so that we can buy our chemicals that keep Monsanto and investors in Monsanto and those companies involved. We basically take that money and put it back out in the economy. And if the legs out from under agriculture, if we don't have a safety net to operate with, and therefore we can't stay in business, there's going to be a lot of the American industry and business that's going to take a hit as well, because we add tremendously to manufacturing jobs and support jobs.
Making the debate this fall over the Farm Bill not just about the farm.
Well, if USDA projections are right, the actual cost of farm subsidies could decrease dramatically in the coming decade. High oil prices have spurred demand for biofuels, which in turn has raised crop prices to record highs, virtually eliminating the need for price support payments and prompting opponents of farm subsidies to renew their call for their elimination. Yet many in farm country say they know all too well the ups and downs of farming and are unwilling to bet the farm on an economic projection.